So he didn't know that there was an issue. I said, I don't know whether he just didn't understand what I was telling him or he didn't trust me. So in today's dramas of being a used car dealer, I've sold the Hyundai i20, which is outside. Sold it to a gentleman. It is now Tuesday. Sold it to a gentleman on Friday. Old chap. It was already MOT'd, already validated, all ready to go. But the chap had no online banking of any kind and didn't have a card that allowed him to pay for the car in full. So he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down the bank. Couldn't go down the bank on the Saturday. There wasn't enough time on the Friday. Couldn't go down the bank on the Saturday because it wasn't open, because banks aren't. Like I said, didn't want to get on the phone and do anything with them. Didn't have a card to come and pay that way. So he said, I'll go down to the bank on Monday. So he went down to the bank yesterday, said he had to queue for over an hour to speak to somebody at the bank, because obviously banks don't have any staff in them anymore, do they? Got to the counter. He said it took them about half an hour or more to do the transaction for him. Rang me up and said, you're paid. So I logged into my bank account and said, I'm not paid. He said, oh, he said, I'm going to have to queue up again to find out why it's not gone through. He's queued up for another hour because he had to do it in the back of the queue for them to tell him that it could take up to 2 hours to hit his bank account, to hit my bank account. I said, it never does. I said, if it's going through, it goes through straight away. So he said, can you keep checking for me? So I kept checking for me. I rang him back an hour later. I said, look, it's not in my account. He said, well, I'll have to go home, get the bus home again. He said, and then you'll have to keep checking through the day and let me know. I said, look, if it's not gone through, it's on a security check. I said, the bank may well have done a transfer. I said, but even then, there's a different department that decides to put it on a security check. Until they've spoken to you, they won't release it, and they're probably ringing your house now while you're in Barnstable trying to sort the transaction, unfortunately. So he got the bus home, running back throughout the day. And every time I told him the same thing, I said, it won't appear in my account. I said, it will not appear in my account because you won't have gone for a security check, and you're going to have had a missed call on your mobile phone or a missed call on your landline. He said, I can't see that. I said, well, unfortunately, that's the way it is. I'll update you at the end of the day. End of the day, I rang him and said, look, it's still not hit my bank account. I said, you're going to, yeah, unfortunately, I don't know how many times I can say the same thing. I didn't say that to him, but, I said it as politely as I could. It will be 100% on a security block. Well, he's rang me first thing this morning to check if it's in my account, and I've told him, no, it's not. I said, you are going to have to ring the bank, and you're going to have to check if there's a block on that payment. Anyway, we've got more inquiries coming in on the i20. I have promised him I'll hold on to it for him, but like I say, we did agree that deal on Friday. We're now on Tuesday and the payment still hasn't gone through. Now, this is not about a customer being difficult, and this is just to highlight. Sorry, we've got someone cleaning the car out. This is to highlight once again how crap banks are these days. So they put all this security stuff in place, but they don't have any processes for actually releasing payments after that. They put a security block on a payment and it'll be hours before they ring to confirm the payment. And we're in a society now where deals are done and a car can go out the door within half an hour if it's ready to go. They need to, and they also have these systems that entirely rely on people being online, having mobile phones to hand, that kind of thing. You just can't do anything old-fashioned anymore. You should have been able to go into that bank, go up to a counter within a reasonable period of time, make a bank transfer, and it hit my bank account because he's physically there. They've asked him presumably whatever questions they need to ask him. It is just daft. I feel for this guy because he's back and forth to Barnstable having to catch buses because he hasn't got a car at the moment. And yeah, I don't know. But unfortunately, I don't seem to be able to get through to him. That even though he was in, because the trouble with it is he's been in the bank. So as far as he's concerned, the bank have done the transfer. So why would it be stopped? And I don't know if he thinks I'm not correct or what, but he's not going to get that payment through until he's spoken to somebody, and that means he's going to have to either sit on a phone for probably the best part of 2 hours to get through to someone, or he's going to have to go back to the bank in Barnstable and sit with them for 2 hours while they get on the phone to someone. In the meantime, car could already be sold and gone out the door, to be honest. I do tell people all the time now that if you intend on picking up a car and paying when you pick the car up, doing the bank transfer when you come to pick the car up, be prepared for quite a long process. You could end up being here 2 or 3 hours while they sort out the payment, because I see this time and time again. I say you really want to transfer it the day before, so if they want to go through security checks, you can do all of that before you get it. But I understand people's hesitance to do that. They like to pay in full for the car on the day they come to pick it up, when it's physically in front of them, and maybe check off any work we agreed to be done has been done. But unfortunately, it just makes the process so slow. I mean, we had one example previously, didn't we, where a guy came in at 10 o'clock in the morning, didn't end up leaving until 5 in the afternoon by the time it was all sorted out, because for the same reasons, he didn't have the apps on his phone in order to do what they wanted him to do when they were ringing him up. So their system completely just failed at that point. It just assumes everyone's got the app on their phone. People like to say, oh, it's all about security, it's all about safety. Well, there's a part of that, but I think most of it is all about cutting costs. You know, if you get people using apps and not going into banks, you can cut all those overheads out. But the reality is we're just not at a point yet where everyone is happy to use those systems. And unfortunately, because a lot of people have used systems online and then still been burnt, they don't want to use them at all. I've got a number of customers coming here now that were using online apps and all that kind of thing, and were victims of fraud for going to the wrong website because they put all these fake URLs and so forth. They don't want to use anything online at all. They want to do it all manually. So I'm seeing a lot of people revert back the other way. Anyhow, rant over. Let's get some more cars prepped and up for sale. However, while we're talking about being safe online, it's time to introduce the sponsor of today's video and a product that does do its job properly. That is Surfshark. Surfshark provides you with a VPN, a virtual private network. That VPN gives you a secure internet connection whilst you're online, protecting you and your data. In addition to that, it allows you to access geo-locked content when on streaming services. So we know Surfshark is brilliant at keeping you safe online, both on your mobile phone and your laptop. For the one fee, you can put it on the app on both devices. But if you've watched my channel at all, you'll probably know by now one of my favourite features of Surfshark is its ability to unlock geo-locked content. Now, by that, what I mean is the streaming services you use to watch movies and so forth will restrict what you can see based on the country that you are in. So you won't always be able to see all the movies you want to. Now, if you can see from my Netflix account here, I'm a big shark fan. So let me show you an example. If I search whilst on my UK internet connection for Meg 2, I can't access it because it is not available in the UK to watch on Netflix. Not a problem. I've got Surfshark. If I go up here to my Surfshark connection, I can change my internet connection, my IP address, to show as I'm based in the United States instead. So if I click on that there, it's going to change me over to a US internet connection. If I now refresh the page, it will show me content available in the US, and Meg 2 is available. So I can now watch that movie thanks to Surfshark. So if you'd like to secure your privacy with Surfshark, they've put together an exclusive offer for Chops Garage viewers. If you enter the coupon code CHOPS, you'll get an extra 4 months free. There's a link in the video description down below. I want to take this opportunity to thank Surfshark for being a continued sponsor of Chops Garage. I-20's had a wash down and a wipe down. I'm going to drive it to the gentleman that bought the car. I think I've said already, he got hold of the bank in the end. I've just explained it to him again that it would be on a security block, and they confirmed it was, and they'd only tried him there once. They hadn't left him a voicemail and hadn't bothered again, so he didn't know that there was an issue. I said, I don't know whether he just didn't understand what I was telling him or he didn't trust me on it, but he rang them up. They said there was a security block and they released the money, but he was then struggling to be able to get up on a bus to here to pick the car up. So I said, I'm going to drive it down to him because he's in the middle of South Molton, drop it off, and then I can walk round to Moors and hopefully pick up a car and bring it back. David has been in, our valeter. He has valeted the Mazda 3 that I bought at G3 auctions and drove all the way back. So that is ready for a photo shoot, other than a little bit of paint I want to do on the bumper. There's just a little bit on the bumper back here I want to do. It will be a bit fiddly because it's a 3-stage paint list, meaning you have to put down a normal white, then a pearl white, then the lacquer over the top. But it's worth doing it because the rest of the car is so clean, it's worth doing that bit there. And he also valeted the Cougar that I've got in. I don't know if I showed this before, but it's a 2-litre 4-wheel drive Cougar, which is always popular around here. It's come out nice and clean. Again, a little bit of paint to do on it on the bumper at the back here. Need to do that bit there. The rest of it came out really nice and clean. He's done a lovely job. done a lovely job trying to get as much stock as I can ready, because last month was a quiet month, as I said in a previous video, so it's a double down time. So we're going to get as much prepped and up for sale as quickly as we can. Try and get some MOTs in. I put some MOTs in a different station that just does MOTs, so that they can go straight out the door as soon as they're done. There's only a couple here, which, like, I'm not sure about this, how saleable this is for me, being a more expensive car. I might hang off doing too much of that because I might trade it out. Possibly the Doblo as well. So we'll see. If we're getting towards the end of the month and we still had a bit of a quiet one, we might just trade a load of stock out, put the cash back in the bank, and go out and shop for lower priced cars that tend to be the best sellers for me. So that's sub 5k small hatchback, if I can go out there and find them. Well, I'm back, and that ended up not being simple. I had to drop the guy to the post office in the end, because I went inside his house, did all the paperwork with him, said, look, if you give me a card, I'll go online and get your tax sorted for you. Did that, and of course it came up with one of those security boxes saying, check the app on your phone for the code and then pop that in. Of course he can't do it, he hasn't got the app on his phone, so he couldn't get the tax done there. So he said to old school it and go to the post office, but obviously he didn't want to drive the car there without any tax on it, so I had to drive him to the post office to go and get that sorted out. I say, it's this belief that they have, these banks, that everyone is running around with the apps on their phones, and it's not about convenience for people, we know that. It's not, is it? It's about trying to cut all these branches out and cut all their staffing out and get everybody to do everything themselves. It's nothing to do about convenience to the customer, it's about saving themselves money. So yeah, that is probably one of the most drawn out sales known to mankind, and I can't blame the guy at all, you know. It is what it is, but his bank wasn't very helpful at all. So imagine doing the transfer for him in the branch, having him ring me and me say it's not hit my account, and not immediately go, oh, probably with our security team, instead sending him on his way and saying, I'll just wait a couple of hours. Anyhow, that's all done and dusted. So he's got his car. Hopefully he's a happy bunny, and he can enjoy his i20 and not have to worry about any big purchases like that again for a long while. I'm pleased to have another i20 to get prepped and up for sale. I just haven't got an i10 at the moment. Anyone out there got an i10 they want to sell? Anybody got an i10 out there? I could do with some i10s. They're always good sellers, and I haven't got one in stock at the moment. It always makes me a bit nervous when I haven't got one. Yeah, remember, if you are selling your car, get on Instagram, get on my website. There's a form on my website, and bung me an email, and we'll see if we can't work out a deal, because subscriber stock is the best, isn't it? Don't forget the raffle for this fantastic Mercedes CL500. It's still up and running. You can win this car for just £2. It's got a brand new MOT on it. It's freshly serviced. We put a new ABC pump on it for the suspension. We're going to give you a year's road tax as well thrown in, so you can literally get it and start to enjoy it straight away. Fantastic condition inside and out this car. With that 5-litre V8, it's just a big wafty beast of a car. The interior is fantastic. I can't remember if I've locked it or not. Yeah, I have locked it, but the interior is incredible on it. See my previous videos to check out what an awesome motor this is. And when you enter, you'll be helping support Ability FC. That is the football club, local football club in Barnstable. That's for those with learning disabilities and additional needs. We're going to help them get kit and continue to work with those kids. So yeah, I'll put a link to that in the video description down below. Don't forget, you can also choose to have £4,000 cash instead of the car if you so wish, in which case we will sell the car off afterwards. And if we get anything over the £4,000, we'll also give that to charity as well. So as I said, a link to that is in the video description down below. It's just £2 per ticket.